Hello, everybody. We're going to get started here in just a few seconds. I need to go start the recording, and once I start the recording, then I'll be right back. Okay, good evening, Southeast region. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I know it's cold in a lot of parts, in lots of the country. There's been lots of tornadoes, lots of crazy weather, but you guys continue to just amaze me. I love all the posts I'm seeing on our Facebook page, and you guys are really doing the do, and you're going to see a big difference in those paychecks come next month, and love seeing the activity. So we're going to get started tonight, and we're going to pick up where we left off. We left off last week talking through 3 more elements of the conversation flow, which is asking permission, telling the story, offering a look, and then providing information. Now, as you may remember, I mentioned that not everyone who has a problem or a need is ready to do something about it. While you may be ready for them, to help them fix their financial situation, maybe they just want to meet more friends, and so many people get involved in this for the personal growth, they just may not be ready for you. And if you're not checking for readiness, you may be saying the right things to the wrong people. So once we see or hear a need, we assume that those people would like to change. So we feel it's our job to persuade them to change. And when you don't check for readiness, you may feel like you're spinning your wheels when the truth could be that you're doing the right things but with the wrong people. People who simply aren't ready yet. So you can check for readiness by asking permission or telling a story that might be meaningful to them. And if they're open to taking a look, then they will let you know. And at which point you can make arrangements for them to explore the business, and in some cases, they will want more information from you to look at as they begin to process, which is where you could give them a business bag with some information in it. So we'll talk about that more in just a second. So you invited them to take a look, and they said yes. So now, where do you go with them? So there are several ways that you can give them information, as well as another exposure that's going to help them get the bigger picture for what the business might be able to provide them. Now remember, we talked about the average person, you usually have to have 6 or 7 exposures before they actually make a decision. Very rarely does somebody see it one time and go, oh wow, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I'm in, and they buy a product pack, right? It would be awesome if they did. But third-party validation through 3-way calls or listening into a recording, our buzz call, is ideal. But sometimes it's not always necessary when the person you're speaking with seems ready to move on to the next phase of that conversation flow. So, I told you last week during part 2 that when they say yes to taking a look at the business, they're saying yes to your invitation to briefly hearing more or seeing more, just an appetizer until they tell you that they want more. So, brief exposures could include, showing them one of those new Life After Monat videos with one of our directors. You can find all those on YouTube. Doing a 3-way call with a market partner who has a similar story or a similar situation. Like I said, that business overview recording, some call it a buzz call, some call it a sizzle call. The Meet Monat event, if it's coming up sooner rather than later, you don't want to just call someone and invite them to Meet Monat event that's coming up next month, right? That's a little bit too far away. A business opportunity webinar featuring someone with a similar situation, or that business bag we talked about, which we'll cover in just a minute. So there are 3 things that could happen during the provide information phase. You could give them information about the business through those exposures we previously talked about. You could give them information about the business, all packaged up in a business bag, which would definitely require follow-up, right? Or you could provide information by inviting them to sit down with you as you briefly share about the business, doing a one-on-one, right? Now, remember, I told you that you can't say the wrong thing to the right people or the wrong thing to the right person. Well, with an established connection, and after you've checked for readiness by asking them what their thoughts are on taking a look at the business, there's no reason why one of those experiences couldn't be with you. Now, in fact, the experience with you could be exactly what they need to make a decision, thus shortening that cycle. Now, if they seem ready and they're open, consider talking with them yourself. This is typically what is referred to in the sponsoring process as the interview. Now, there are several ways to give them information as well as another exposure. That will help them get the bigger picture for what the business might be able to provide them. Third-party validation through three-way calling or listening into a recording is ideal, but it's not always necessary when the person you're speaking with seems to be ready to move to that next phase. Now, when they say yes to taking a look, remember they're saying yes to your invitation to briefly, remember that word, hear more or see more. Because we want always be careful that you don't throw up all over people, okay? So this is kind of the brief exposures updated. We just added some one-on-one time with you. Now, let's get into that business bag. This great thing about this business bag, it's a great way to guide a one-on-one conversation about the business. Now, this is the interview part of the sponsoring process. It's an opportunity for the person that you're speaking with to interview you to see if the business could be a fit for them. So your job is to just guide the conversation through specific but brief, and again, brief highlights, and then allow them to interject questions about the things that they're most concerned about. And we'll talk more on that in a moment. And here's an example of a business bag. You could have totally, but use your personality here. It doesn't have to be a bag like that. It can be totally be your personality. Now, the interview could happen with one or more people sitting face-to-face or even over the phone. But if you're on the phone, make sure that the person you're speaking with has that bag of goodies in front of them, or at least the opportunity brochure as you walk them through the content. So if you're one-on-one together, just pull the opportunity brochure out to begin the conversation. Simple enough, right? So the interview is basically a thank you and your story, a brief history of the company, the products, how we sell, market potential, and close. Now, let's touch on each one of those individually. That first step is a simple thank you for taking time out of their busy day and sharing a brief story about you in just a couple of minutes or less. How Monat has blessed your life. It could sound something like this. Thanks so much for taking a moment to look at this business. I realize it may or may not be a fit for you, but I appreciate your time and I value your input. Like you, I needed a way to supplement my family's income, and this was a way for me to do something very part-time and earn a couple of $100 extra. That's just a basic, right? Okay, now the next thing you want to do is share a brief history. Monat, it's a derivative of two words, modern and nature. That's how we pronounce our name. And it started a little over a year ago in the U.S., and then we launched Canada just this past October. And we've been experiencing incredible growth every month since we launched. We have incredible before and after pictures of real people who are seeing real results with the appearance and texture of their hair. But more importantly, people are making real incomes. They're paying off debt. They're relieving that financial pressure. And some people are even able to replace career-level incomes. It's just totally up to you and how much time and effort you would like to put into it. But we're very unique to the marketplace. We're the first social selling company to offer naturally based age prevention hair care that actually works without those toxins that are so harmful. But the thing that I love the most is we're part of a big family of people who genuinely want to help us dream bigger and get what we want and need from our businesses. The support from the owners of this company and the corporate team is pretty incredible. Now, we currently offer 16 products. We need to update this slide. All but 2 are infused with our signature Rejuvenique oil, which is the catalyst behind all the testimonials we've been seeing about the hair. And I've given you a sample here and point out the samples, as well as 101 uses for it that you might find interesting. So be sure a copy of that 101 uses of Rejuvenique oil is in your goodie bag. All of our products are made from pure, safe ingredients without the harmful elements typically found in most grocery store brand hair products and even some salon-grade products. And they've been scientifically proven to increase hair growth, replace hair loss, protect hair from environmental toxins, and just help you have more youthful hair. We promise longer, fuller, stronger, younger-looking hair in 90 days. Now, we do have our own FDA-approved manufacturing plant located in Miami, Florida. And this is important because what that means is we oversee and control what goes into every single product that we produce, and we're very transparent about the ingredients that we use and those ingredients that we don't use. And the way we market our products is through social marketing, which essentially means sharing products that you love in a social environment. Now, this could be one-on-one over a glass of wine with a friend or at an informal social gathering with several people. There's the great thing about Monat, there's no geographic boundaries. You can sell and sponsor anywhere in the U.S. and Canada. And you can earn 30 to 40% commission on retail sales. And someone that would really enjoy a discount, maybe you have people that you're going to run into that don't want to pay retail for anything, offer the VIP customer program, letting them know that they could make 15 to 25% on sales from VIP customers, or then if they choose to just be a VIP customer, they would get a 15% discount and free shipping with those automatic shipments. Now, the market potential. This is super important because typically when someone's considering a business like this, they want to know just a couple of things. How well will the product be received, and is there a market for what the company sells? So to give you a perspective, hair care is presently a $40 billion industry, and it's projected to grow to $59 billion in the next couple of years. Now, Monat is the first social marketing company to offer high-end, naturally based hair care as the primary product, and being first to market has its advantages. It means that we get to talk about something that's new and different, and the products are consumable, which simply means that people are going to use the product and want more of it on a continual basis because it's an item that's already a part of monthly household purchases. And lastly, there's a need for what we offer. Men just tend to accept baldness, and women would like to pretend they don't have a problem. And who doesn't want to improve or protect their hair or want more of it, right? So let me ask you now, based on what I just shared with you, what stands out the most? Is this something you could see yourself doing? And is there any reason why you wouldn't want to get started with Monat, right? Absolutely. It's easy enough, right? All right. So here's just a couple of helpful tips for you. And then I would like to hear any feedback. Those of you that are familiar with how this works, not the X, but you see on the box to the right, it says questions. You can click on that little arrow that goes to the left and pop that out, and you can ask a question. Oh, no, Bo says he can't hear me. That was a while ago, so I hope you guys can hear me. But please ask me questions. There's anything you don't understand. But I'm going to go over these helpful tips. You just, when you're talking to people, what I want to hear from you guys is this. Is there any other ideas that you have that you would like to share? Anything that you think would be a great addition to the business bag? That's what I would like to hear from you. But when you are going through this interview with people, remember to pause between each of those segments to allow your prospect to interject any questions that they have. And then you don't want to talk too much. Don't overshare. You want to allow them time to process what you're saying. And they're going to ask you about things that are important to them. So you want to resist the urge to share only what's important to you. And that's when you could be oversharing. And you do want to ask for a decision, you know, and if you can't decide, encourage the pillow test. Now, this is what that pillow test is. When your prospect just isn't ready to get started, encourage them to get a pillow test, which is basically, you could say something like this. You know, if after hearing this information you have a really hard time sleeping tonight because you've got so many questions and you just keep thinking of people that this company or this product could benefit, and then you're still thinking about Monat when you wake up in the morning, that may be your answer. Because my goal in talking to you is to make sure that you don't sleep tonight. So how about we touch base tomorrow and see how that pillow test went for you? Does that sound fair enough? See, it's totally non-threatening too, which I love. All right, I can hear you fine. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Now, does anybody have any questions about that? Any questions about the business bag? Any ideas that you have? Maybe share with us even something that you've done that has worked extremely well for you that maybe I didn't cover, because I'm one of these people that thinks that the best way of doing it actually hasn't been created yet. I think there's other ideas out there that are just as fabulous. I do think it's important that we all try to follow a system. Oh, good. Leanne loves the pillow test. Diane Martin loves the business bag. Now, do you guys put in those business bags what we just went over, what I showed you in the picture? Yes. Bo, I bet you've got some fabulous looking business bags. Awesome. All right, let me go to this next slide, which is our homework. And by the way, I am so excited for you guys. There's nothing more fun than going to the post office and mailing off challenge winners gifts. I went to the post office today for those of you that won this last challenge, and I put a book and some brochures in the mail, so you should have those in a few days. So super, super excited. And of course, you just never know when there may just be one of those prize patrol packages ready to go out to you. So always focus on getting your homework, because the great thing about this homework, especially for you newbies out there, everything we're asking you to do is activity-based. So it doesn't matter what the outcome is. It's just strictly activity. And these are activities that you would be doing anyway to build your business. So this just kind of keeps you pacing with the rest of the team and keeps you accountable. So the homework for this week is, of course, every week you want to get your 1-in-1, and you're going to do that by making those 2 new contacts a day and calling 2 new people a day. 2 new people a day, 5 days a week minimum. And then you want to go back through your sponsoring pipeline and figure out where you are in conversation flow, right, with all the people on your list. That's really important. You know, where do you need to go next with them? What's the next exposure? What's the next step you want to take with those people? And invite 10 people who seem ready to take a look at the business. And then you want to go through the opportunity brochure interview with them. And again, it could be in person or it could be over the phone. If it's long distance, it's always awesome to do a Skype so you can see each other. And then you want to post your results in our Facebook group. That's really important. That's the key, right? And I'm going to pop out that question box one more time to see if you guys have any questions. Oh, wow, a lot's on here. Hang on a second. We've got some fast typers. Okay, a lot of times they say, I'm not a salesperson. I always tell them the product sells itself and that they're their own walking billboard. And when you love something, you always talk about the product. So you're selling the product without knowing it. That's absolutely right, Katina. It really is one of those, when I talk to people and they say, I can't tell you how many 3-way calls I've gotten on with market partners in the personal side. I'm just not a salesperson. I say, good, that's not who we're looking for. We're looking for people who have a passion for changing people's lives. And if that's what you have a passion for, you would fit perfectly into this, because we don't really sell. We share something that works. We share a business model that's working for a lot of people, and we sell a product that works for a lot of people. So it goes right back to facts, tell, and stories sell. And Fisher, you are already on the way to making this decision. Absolutely right. Mallory, someone just messaged me wanting to sign as a market partner while listening to the webinar. There you go. Now, those are few and far between. Wouldn't it be great if every day we had those 2 people call us 5 days a week and say, hey, I'm ready to get started with the Overachiever Pack? That would be awesome, right? Absolutely. But I tell you guys, if you just stay the course, follow the system, 2 new contacts a day, 5 days a week, and expose people to what we offer and always lead with the business, you will generate enough interest in your business that you will start an amazing journey that you will be so glad that you went on. And remember, success is not a destination, it's a journey. Even when you get to the top level of this company, your journey will continue. And one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, always said, it's not making the $1 million that was so amazing, it was the person I became on my journey to making that $1 million. That's what was amazing. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. We kept it short tonight, and look forward to seeing that homework posted on that Facebook page, and look forward to seeing some of you. I'll be in Atlanta, or actually in Cummings, Georgia this Thursday night, so if you know anybody, it's about 30 minutes outside of Atlanta. You can always go to momateglobal.com/events and see where all the corporate events are going to be held. And, keep an eye on that. And anytime you know of anybody in these areas, call them. That's their first exposure. Let them listen to the business overview call. Have them come and get that second exposure by taking a look. Just let your RSM that's doing the event know that you've got someone coming. Give us their name, and we will take care of them for you. Then the following week, I'll be in Clearwater, Florida on the 24th, and then in Winter Park, Florida on the 25th. So that's the next couple of weeks of my travel schedule. So if you've got anybody in those areas, let's get you a team going there. And you guys go out and make this week one of the best weeks you've ever had, and have a great night. God bless.